Obsession is a drug, and I'm addicted. You thought I was obsessed before. You haven't seen how far I'm willing to go to feed this desire. What happens when the obsession takes hold and everything else fades into the background? You thought I was obsessed. You haven't even seen the edge of this. Every part of me is driven by this, and the more I give into it, the stronger it becomes. You thought I was obsessed before. You haven't felt the power of this obsession yet. What started as a passing thought has now become the very air I breathe. You thought I was obsessed before. Wait until you see how all-encompassing this is. The obsession grows stronger with each passing day. You thought it was intense before? Now it's a force that can't be ignored, and I'm caught in its grasp. You thought I was obsessed before? Now it's not just a passing feeling, it's everything. I wake up thinking about it. I go to bed consumed by it. There's something beautiful in obsession when it's pure, when it's all you can think about. You thought I was obsessed. Now you can't even imagine the intensity of it. I thought I knew obsession, but now I realize there are layers to it I never even considered. You thought I was obsessed before. You haven't even begun to see it. What happens when obsession becomes more than just a feeling, but an all-encompassing reality? You thought I was obsessed. You haven't seen anything yet. Obsession isn't just a feeling. It's a force that drives everything you do. A force that shapes your entire existence. You thought I was obsessed. You haven't seen how this evolves. They say obsession consumes you, and I've found that it's true. What I once thought was just a phase has now become my truth. You thought I was obsessed? Wait until you see what this becomes. I never imagined obsession could be so powerful, so overwhelming. You thought I was obsessed. Now, I can't even imagine life without it. You thought I was obsessed before? That was nothing. Now, this obsession runs through my veins. It's part of who I am, and I can't escape it. There's a certain freedom in obsession, a sense of purpose and drive that you can't find anywhere else. You thought I was obsessed before? Wait until you see where this takes me. Obsession makes you stronger in ways you didn't think possible. You thought I was obsessed. Now it's become my strength, my focus, my everything. What happens when you let obsession take over, when you allow it to be the driving force behind your every move? You thought I was obsessed before. You have no idea what that truly means. I thought I understood obsession, but now I realize there's so much more to it. You thought I was obsessed before. You haven't even scratched the surface of what's to come. The more I lean into this obsession, the more I see it shaping my thoughts, my actions, and my future. You thought I was obsessed before. Now it's all I am. There's no other way to describe it. It's like an addiction, but one that keeps me going, keeps me moving forward. You thought I was obsessed. You haven't seen the power of it yet. I never imagined obsession could change me this much, could drive me to the extremes I'm willing to go to now. You thought I was obsessed before. You have no idea. Obsession doesn't fade. It grows. It consumes. And the more it takes, the more it gives back. You thought I was obsessed before. Just wait. It's not just about passion anymore. It's everything. It's my mind, my body, my soul. You thought I was obsessed before. You haven't seen how deep it runs now. Every time I think I've reached the peak, I realize there's more to be uncovered, more to chase. You thought I was obsessed? You've only seen the tip of the iceberg. You thought I was obsessed before? Now it's like my entire existence revolves around it, and I can't see any way out. But I'm not sure I want to escape. What happens when obsession becomes your only truth? When it's all you think about? You thought I was obsessed before? You haven't seen how it transforms everything. It's not just a feeling anymore. It's a need. An unquenchable thirst that grows stronger by the day. You thought I was obsessed before. You haven't seen how it's consuming me now. Obsession has a way of sneaking up on you, turning into something you can't resist. You thought I was obsessed before. Now you can't even comprehend how deep it's gone. I used to think I was in control of my feelings. Now I realize the obsession has taken the reins, and there's no way to pull back. You thought I was obsessed before? Just wait. Obsession is a double-edged sword. It pulls you in, makes you crave more, and never lets you go. You thought I was obsessed. You've only seen the beginning. What happens when obsession takes over every part of your being? When it becomes your reality, your purpose? You thought I was obsessed before. This is just the start. You thought I was intense before. You haven't seen what happens when I let go of everything I thought I knew about self-control. This is a whole new level, and I'm not backing down. There are moments in life when you realize just how deep something or someone has woven itself into your thoughts. And when that realization hits, there's no turning back. You thought I was obsessed? Wait until you see what it becomes. Sometimes it's like your mind becomes a constant loop, circling back to the same thought, the same feeling, the same craving. You thought I was obsessive? I'm just getting started. It's crazy how emotions can evolve into something more than you can control. What once was a thought now consumes every part of me, and I'm only scratching the surface. There's a certain power in obsession, one that drives you to explore new heights, and once it takes hold, there's no more turning back. If you thought I was obsessed before, you haven't seen anything yet. I never thought I would feel so consumed by a thought, a feeling, a person. But here we are, and this fire is only growing brighter, more intense, and more uncontrollable with every passing second. Every waking moment is now an obsession with what's next, what I desire, and what I crave. You thought you knew the depths of my passion. You haven't seen the extremes I'll go to now. I've crossed a line I didn't even know existed. It's a path full of uncertainty, and yet I feel more alive, more focused than ever. You thought I was obsessed before. You haven't seen the half of it. Sometimes it's not about wanting something, it's about needing it, to the point where you can't imagine life without it. You thought I was obsessed before. Now I'm lost in it entirely. You know the feeling when something consumes your every thought, your every action. That's where I am now. It's deeper than obsession. It's more than just passion. It's everything. I thought I was obsessed too, but now it's a different kind of obsession. One that pulls me in further, that demands all my attention and more. You haven't seen the storm brewing within me. What happens when you realize you've crossed a boundary you never intended to? You begin to wonder just how far you're willing to go. You thought I was obsessed. You haven't seen where this is headed. They say obsession is a form of madness. But what happens when madness feels like clarity? You thought I was obsessed before. I'm just beginning to uncover what it truly means to desire. What once seemed like a passing thought has now become a daily part of my life. Every decision, every moment is influenced by it. You thought I was obsessed before. Now I am consumed. The deeper I go, the more I realize that obsession isn't just about the object of desire. It's about the journey, the constant pull, the never-ending chase. You haven't seen how far I'll go. What happens when obsession shifts from a fleeting thought to a permanent state of being? You thought I was obsessed before. Now I'm fully immersed in it. You know what they say, when you're on the verge of something amazing, the obsession grows, and I can feel it building, growing stronger. You thought I was obsessed, just wait. Obsession is like a spark that lights a fire. What starts small soon consumes everything in its path. You thought I was obsessed? You've seen nothing yet. There's a strange thrill in being consumed by something. It takes over, occupies your mind, and changes the way you see the world. You thought I was obsessed. Now I am its captive. There was a time when I thought obsession was unhealthy. Now I'm living in the intensity of it, and I wouldn't trade this feeling for anything. You haven't seen the full extent yet. I never thought I'd get here. I never thought obsession could take me this far. But now that I'm here, I can't help but wonder just how deep it will go. You thought I was obsessed before? There's no turning back when obsession takes over. It grabs you by the soul and drags you into the unknown. You thought I was obsessed. This is just the beginning. When you become obsessed, there's nothing else. No distractions, no hesitation, just a singular focus that drives you. You thought I was obsessed before. Now you can't even imagine where this will lead. It's funny how something can start as a thought, something simple, and then grow into something all-consuming. You thought I was obsessed. You haven't seen how much deeper I'll go. I don't know when it happened, but now it's like everything revolves around this obsession. Every action, every decision is fueled by it. You thought I was obsessed before. You have no idea. They say obsession can blind you. But what if, for once, it clears your vision, forces you to focus only on one thing? You thought I was obsessed. You haven't seen anything yet.